morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the very first episode of a brand new year. Once again, you're watching or listening to the Engine Room podcast brought to you by tokenmetrics.com. My name is Dylan Love. Very happy January 2022 to everybody. We're joined today by Mr. Bill Noble. You know him, you love him from the live streams, his notorious market updates. Bill, what's up, man? Happy New Year, Happy New Year. So let's talk a little bit about the news. You know, there's not exactly any earth-shattering news to talk about just yet. We're still very early in the year. But one thing that's absolutely standing out on the crypto calendar is that today is Bitcoin's 13th birthday. So that's January 3rd, 2022. Our favorite cryptocurrency, and certainly Michael Saylor's favorite cryptocurrency, is now a teenager. 13 years ago today, the very first Genesis block was mined by none other than Satoshi Nakamoto himself. The media has said that Bitcoin has died, I don't know the number, some 400 times since then. It's obviously been false. I don't know. Bill, what kind of thoughts do you have on the 13th anniversary of the birth of modern cryptocurrency?
Okay, a few things. I think one maximalist noted that, oil futures went to zero and Bitcoin never did. So as you noted, the death of Bitcoin never happened. The second thing that comes to mind is it pays to be early, and in research, you get paid for imagination. Mm-hmm. Whoever was involved in Bitcoin from the beginning used their imagination. And after the great financial crisis, thinking about Bitcoin was a good use of your imagination. If you carry that forward to 2022, don't say, "Oh, I miss Bitcoin." Say, "What is a good use of my imagination given reality?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good, very good. So, with that in mind, we have the whole year in front of us, and quite a few people, quite a few companies have put some of their own imagination into what 2022 holds for us in the general financial markets, but in particular in the crypto markets. And we want to call out Credo, Qredo, in particular, for putting together a really awesome report on their basic speculation about what the future holds for crypto in 2022. We've teased certain elements of this report in previous episodes of the podcast. But before we started recording, Bill, one thing that stood out to you in this report was that Credo is basically calling for the first billion-dollar hack to happen this year. Kind of a scary thought. Who do you think it will be?
All right. So there's two ways to break this down. One of them is, what type of actor could pull off something of that size and either get away with it or remain hidden? Right? Because if you steal $1 billion, you're going to get the attention of law enforcement for sure, globally. So my guess is it would have to be a state actor or intelligence service, right? I mean, that's like North Korea, Iran,
the United States,
the United States, a communist regime. Now, I said two. That's not true. There's always more than one. But I would imagine if somebody goes and hacks cryptocurrency to that extent, that maybe cryptocurrency has hurt them. So, for example, if there was ever a problem with, say, the euro or the Russian ruble, or even, value or currency in China or real estate, that if everybody wanted crypto so much, really the only way to scare people out of crypto is to do this grandstanding hack. Now, that's pushing it, but again, really only a state actor could do it. And the only reason that they would want to do it is because there's a problem with their currency that's making people want crypto. Now, all of that said, so that's bloviating A. Bloviating B is, this guy may have the right idea about a hack, except what about a hack in legacy? Why does everybody think stock exchanges and the mechanisms that brokerage firms use for trading could never be subjected to a cyber dare I use the word, attack. Right? So the first $1 billion hack may not be in crypto. The idea that the big hack could be in legacy, even though a hack is an unpleasant topic, if you're going to talk about a hack, you should talk about it across all markets.
If we're learning anything at all from cryptocurrency, it's that the world is adversarial, and so the world is bigger than crypto, right? So
right.
No one's impervious, no one's impenetrable necessarily, and we'll probably learn a little bit about who we thought was bulletproof this year that is less than bulletproof this year. Anyway, big shout out to the Credo team. Yeah. Big shout out to Josh Goodbody. If you want to hear more from that particular team, you should be sure to check out the Crypto Hot Seat interview we did with Mr. Josh Goodbody of Credo. Now, let's turn to the main course here, Bill, because right before we turn the page on 2021, you won a trading competition. Can you walk us through this? How did this all get started? This was an Australian entity that was organizing this. How did this cross your desk, Bill?
Okay, interesting story. So I think I would title it by saying imagination gone awry in the beginning. So I get a call from a respected Token Metrics associate that said, "Hey, Bill, how'd you like to be in a trading contest against, let's call this person our best trader? How'd you like to be involved in this?" I'm really more of an analyst. I'm like, well, since I like this person and I know this person's trying real hard, I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And then as soon as I did it, I'm like, wait a minute, what did I agree to? So I'm kind of assuming I was so nervous because the trading battle was like, to me, it was explained that we would trade on the air during this 1 hour live stream. And then they would record the results. And hopefully I didn't get embarrassed, especially since I was competing against a colleague.
Right. Let's be clear. Like, no matter how this trading contest ended, Token Metrics would be the victor. It was just a question of which Token Metrics representative would be the victor.
Right. And I'm not down with being embarrassed. And my vision of this group, they were very professional. They had like producers, and they seemed to really have it together. So I was like, oh, this is fantastic. I'm in a trading competition on national TV in Australia. Okay, well, as it turned out,
right,
there were some different things that took place. Right, so that was what happened in my head, and of course, I tried to get out of it. I tried to chicken out. I'm just going to say that straight up. On this podcast, we're keeping it real. Yeah. So I lost sleep. I wanted to chicken out. I definitely lost sleep. There was a lot of wah about having to do it. So I did it. So as it turned out, here was the reality. One, it was definitely not national TV in Australia. I think they had only a handful of followers. So
no TV at all. This was just a live stream on YouTube, basically.
Right. And I think these guys were just starting up. Their idea was cool, and they were professional.
It is a good idea, yeah.
So, all right. So then I was like, okay. And then I got some additional news that the trades that we would put on, we could close them on the air, but the ultimate score would be determined by where these trades were in 4 or 5 days, which I didn't really understand until I was actually live on the air.
Yeah, less than intuitive there.
Yeah, less than intuitive. So imagination was required. Then I found out that, it was a $10,000 account, but the trades were really done with 20x leverage, which I guess makes sense, right? If you're having somebody day trade over the course of an hour, it's got to be 20x leverage in order to generate any meaningful P&L.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what I did was I set up, at the time I was bearish. So I set it up as short Bitcoin, long some Solana as a hedge, because I figured if I was wrong, Solana would moon, and short a DeFi index. So DeFi 1.0, that'd be like your anything from compound to chain link to synthetic. So I found a DeFi futures contract. Now, as I did the show, and I'll tell you all about the show host and why I liked her materially less than I like you and every other show host I've ever had. Okay, that's a whole story. But the bottom line is I get on the air. The host gives me a hard time. I keep my composure. I put my trades on. And then as soon as I get off the trading battle, over that weekend, every single trade went against me. So Bitcoin and DeFi went up and Solana went down. And I didn't get any sleep that whole weekend. Then into next week, Bitcoin went down a little. Solana stayed the same, but DeFi crashed. And I didn't realize that you could actually cover the trades before the end of the battle. I thought you had to put it on and leave it until Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at my P&L and DeFi had crashed. And the $10,000 account, I had made $12,000 in profit. And I emailed them. I'm like, can I take profits on this? Because I was trading for St. Jude, right? Cancer research. So I'm like, oh my God, I got 10,000 plus here for St. Jude. So I called them up and said, yeah, you can cover. And to tell you how fast things move at 20x leverage, between the time I took to email them and get an answer, my P&L went from up 12,000 to up only 9. So I was like, oh my God, this is for kids with cancer. I covered everything. Now, two things. One, it happened to be the biggest win in the history of the whole trading game. They had just recently expanded into crypto. They did equities and Forex in the past. So I got lucky on that, fortunate. And then, they had to donate to 10K to children's cancer, which of course is a very good thing, in my opinion. I'd seen their commercials on television. And, we got some attention, and, our marketing people are still talking to marketing people affiliated with that whole process. So, it was basically a win from everybody. And I think the lesson for people in crypto is that, fortune did favor the brave, but when I worried about it, the reality wasn't as scary as I thought, really. In other words, when you worry, it doesn't always pan out. Or said differently, worry is not work. Worry achieves nothing. Work has an eventual byproduct. So when I actually did the work, when I looked at my charts, when I tried to do the trade, that was a much more productive than all the worrying I did about it and all the nerves I had. Because people look at me and I'm bloviating on camera and people think, you don't get nervous. I'm like, oh yeah, I do. And for this one, whoa, dude. Yeah, I did not want to do something where the whole account got liquidated. I did not want that. And I'm more of an analyst than I am a tactical day trader. So at the end of the day, it worked out.
Yeah, amen to that. So with this victory under your belt now, are you eager to sign up for it again? Hesitant to sign up for it again? Where's your head at?
Well, I mean, if it would help cancer research in my company, I'll do what's necessary, right? If the expectation is I have to do better than I did last time, I would say I would be hesitant to let them set that expectation, although that train may leave the station if they ever let me get back on. Personally, this is just an idea. Sometimes I wonder whether that's something that we can all do internally or potentially ourselves. Just be like, hey, let's take a look at the paper trades for this week. In other words, I like the idea, and I know that they need some sort of adversarial thing for entertainment.
Sure.
but I'm just wondering if, talk and play trading is as helpful as talk and TA.
Yeah, I'm flashing back hardcore right now to when I was in middle school, and we were learning about what is the stock market, how does it work, how do people make and lose money. And there was a district-wide paper trading competition. You could sign up and be a member of a little club that would do paper trades before, and we didn't call it paper trades, but even though that's what it was. And my team did not win, but that was the first time I really kind of wrapped my head around this idea of what is a financial market and how do you extract value out of it for yourself. Anyway, thanks for sharing that story of your success with us, Bill. Even it sounds like it was deeply, deeply stressful, but you came out on top in the end, which is great.
And I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah, right on. You also learned that you could cover your trades before the time went.
Yeah. I learned how the game worked. Right.
Is it appropriate to plug these guys? How can people watch your work from what this was in mid-December? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the YouTube channel is Trading Battle. I don't have it up in front of me right now. I think that was the name of the group. Yeah, the YouTube channel is called The Trading Battle. The Trading Battle.
Awesome.
It has 955 subscribers, and that's probably way too low. Honestly, it's too low given what they're trying to do. And they had some really professional people behind it, to be honest with you. I mean, I thought what they had graphics, they had like a journalist show host like you, except I like you much better. I don't know if they caught that in the original part, but it's like this is definitely not Dylan. Anyway, right. So, yeah, they're worth checking out. They want to have me back. I'd go back.
Good deal. Well, if anybody listening or watching to this wants to check out Bill's performance on the Trading Battle, just look up The Trading Battle on YouTube. And you can see how our boy did. Well, they were both our boys, but Token Metrics emerged victorious in the end.
Yes.
Let's pay a few bills here. The name of this podcast is Engine Room. We are on YouTube 3 days a week. We also go out in audio format. If you like what we're doing, if you like what we're talking about, then you might as well like and subscribe and share and tell people to do the same thing. If you would rather listen in your headphones, then we've got an audio podcast for you as well. Just search Engine Room Crypto Podcast, and it'll be the first thing that pops up. How else to end this, Bill?
Well, I mean, this show is brought to you by tokenmetrics.com. Our indices over the weekend, if you missed the rally in DeFi 1.0, in other words, I made the low by covering my short. A lot of stuff has rallied, and a lot of that stuff was in our indices. So, if you need a roadmap in crypto and you need to make money in crypto, like and subscribe and go to tokenmetrics.com and, spend a little money so you can make a lot of money.
Yep, right on. Well put. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.